Hi everybody, Jillian here for Illustrated Faith, and I am so excited to show you an entry that I'm going to create using the Craving Connection kit from Illustrated Faith and Dayspring. So really quickly, I'm going to give you a look at some of the things that I'll be using today, including the devotional kit, and then I'll just jump in and get started, and you can kind of watch my process over my shoulder. So as you can see here, I've got my journaling Bible, and this is the verse that I want to journal in Colossians, and I've got both sides filled up in my Bible. So instead of doing it in the margin of my Bible today, I'm going to go ahead and use the blank page next to the devotional that I want to talk about today. I'll just go ahead and do my entry and my artwork in this blank space here, and then I'll just be using bits and pieces from the kit, as well as some basics like my journaling pens, some black ink, an acrylic block. I've got some Faber-Castell markers here, an extra roll of Amen washi tape. I found myself saying Amen over and over as I was reading through these devotionals and the Craving Connection book. And then I've also got the element stamp from Illustrated Faith. And that's it. I'm going to go ahead and put you guys on fast forward and get started. So the first thing that I'm going to do is pull out my markers and kind of find a good match to the colors in the kit, because I want to use this to get color down on this blank white page. Before I do that, I want to go ahead and spell out the word forgiveness using these blue alphas, and what I like to do is line them across the top of either my Bible mat, or in this case the sticker sheet, which proved to be very handy for this entry, and line them up and then place them so I can move them around to see where I want them, and then I leave the top part of it hanging off a little bit so that I can go in, press down on the top, pull the mat or the sticker sheet to me, and get them placed down fairly straight. I go in afterwards and kind of rearrange things a little bit, but it's a really easy way to get stickers down. Next, I'm going to go ahead and just scribble on some color with these big brush markers, and then I'm using the element stamp with the black pigment ink to just provide a little more interest, a little more texture behind the sticker. I like to use the two different journaling pens, the .25 and the .65, interchangeably. I usually use the .65 to draw some journaling lines, and it's totally okay with me if they're wonky and a little bit messy. And then I use the smaller of the two tips to write my journaling. So this entry is using the When Wounds from Women Are Hard to Forgive devotional by Kristen Strong, and I went into the Craving Connection book also to read the full story that she tells there. And it was kind of creepy, because as I'm reading it, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, how does she know this about me? And oh my goodness, there's somebody else who kind of went through a similar situation. So she talks about thinking of forgiveness as a 3-step process, and then that kind of inspired my entry here. As I'm putting this together, I just kind of want to share a little experience I had with this issue. And so the very first sticker that I put down says, "He knows." And God absolutely knew the hurt that was caused by those less than helpful comments that were made to me as a new mother. He knew the anxiety that was my constant companion every time I ventured out to Target for more baby formula, because I was terrified that somebody was going to scold me. He knew and saw me isolate myself from other mothers in my neighborhood and in my church. The next sticker, or the next element that I put down, is from the cut apart sheet, and it says, "God is able." And I'm just writing here, God is able, and He does equip us and help us to forgive others who have hurt us, even when we don't feel like it. He showed us the compassion that we need, compassion which is the antidote to unforgiveness. Now at the bottom, I really wanted to highlight the word forgive, because that is part of the process of forgiveness, is forgiving other people. And so I wanted to use this big wreath and have it in the bottom corner of the page. So I'm going to use the sticker sheets to mask off my work surface and the other page. I'm going to put some color down with the big brush pen here. But before I do that, I want to layer some more washi. I'm going to go ahead and get the color down, looking to see about how much space I need to take up. And then I'll go ahead and stamp the wreath image on top of that using that black pigment ink again. So inside the wreath, I want to use this circle that I punched out that says "Forgive," and I really like how it pops off of that blue background there. And then I'm going to go ahead and layer a heart behind it, just to draw a little more attention to it. And then my journaling next to that says, "By His power I can humble myself to forgive. He will take my heart from where it is to where He is." And then I just wrote the reference down next to that, because the verse that I would have journaled this next to is Colossians 3:12 and 13. I'm going to finish that off with a date stamp. There's some kind of weird, just empty space there above the wreath, so I decided to go back with this polka dot stamp from the element set, and just do some off stamping around the page, just to kind of make it look a little more cohesive and not like an accident. And then the very last thing I'm going to do, since those S alpha stickers were kind of not stuck down all the way, is add one more swipe of color here with another marker. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching and for allowing me to share.